Welcome back, everybody. There's no convocation this year. I much prefer to be up here. I'd even more prefer to have our kids singing, our Teacher of the Year speaking, all of you together saying hi to old friends, the moment when you come back and see each other, catch up on your summer, catch up on your lives, catch up on your families, talk about your kids, the things you did this summer, and reconnect. And that kind of convocation just isn't possible this year. In 2020, we have to make adjustments all the time. And having 900 people together in an auditorium is not something we're going to be able to do this year. So I wanted to send this video out to all of you to welcome you back and to say how excited I am for this school year. And that is no joke, because welcoming our kids back, whether it's in a hybrid form, whether we have 15% of our kids in a virtual school, we're welcoming back our kids to West Hartford Public Schools for a special year. And it's important to remember that. It's important to remember how special this is and how special our charge is with our kids in our schools. Our kids need us. They've needed us throughout this process, and they need us this year more than they ever have. The 2020-2021 school year is going to have peaks and valleys. We know that. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be people that tell us what we can and can't do. There's going to be people that don't believe we can do special things. I've had a lot of people, and at times I've felt it myself, that just think, okay, this is just a year we get through. We can't get through a year with our kids. But more importantly, we can't get through a year of our life and just say, we're just getting through it, and we're not living it. You know, we have to know why we're doing things. I can tell you this summer, and really over the past 6 months, I've come to accept that there's certain decisions that I'm going to make that no matter what the decision, there is no right decision. There's nothing but bad choices. But I've come to be at peace in the past few weeks, understanding that people can say this, people can say that, people can question me. And if I can say to myself, I'm doing what I think is best for kids and best for our families and best for our schools and best for our staff, then I'm okay with it. So that's where we are. This isn't a year to get through. There's too much going on. Our kids need us too much. We're not tabling everything else we do just to get through the 4 or 5 hours a day. You're teachers. We're teachers. People are watching us. When those kids walk into your classroom, they're going to take their cue from you about how I should feel today. And I want more than anything that when our kids come back into school, they feel excited. They feel hope. They feel loved. They deserve hope. They deserve hope. And we're going to make sure we're doing what's right for kids, for families, for West Hartford, for Connecticut, and for the United States. For anybody that's known me my entire career in West Hartford, I've always been fascinated by the notion that West Hartford represents the United States in so many ways. And that this driving, burning mission that I feel is that proving that education can uplift here, which means education's the answer everywhere. We have a lot of challenges ahead of us. There's all of our health challenges. There's the protocols you got to get used to. And we've got to stay like this. So we've got to understand there's going to be moments of fear. That first time you're in a classroom, it's going to feel different. The first day you come back, it's going to feel different. The first time somebody sneezes or coughs, it's going to feel different. We have to accept that. Okay? We have to accept things are going to happen. All right? But have we put in place every mitigation strategy that we possibly can? And do I feel comfortable being the person who's going to be blamed for anything? I do. I feel comfortable knowing that we've done all that we can. And the members of the executive team, all of our custodial staff, all of our nursing staff, all of our office staffs, our principals, our administrators, people that have been working throughout the summer to get us ready. The amount of work that's been done is inspiring, and it shows possibility. Possibility. Can the world be better? That's something this year is definitively about. When we talk about equity, when we talk about anti-racism, I get questions from people. Rosina gets questions from people about, well, what happens to those people that don't think we should be doing this, that don't think we should be talking about anti-racism, that reject the notion that there's any such thing as white privilege, that reject our work. This work isn't political. This work's about human beings. For those of you that don't think we need to do that, that means you don't think we need to listen to our kids and their feelings and our community and what they go through, to see their pain, to see their fear, to see them wonder, does the color of my skin define me to everybody? We're better than that. We can't pretend there's no such thing as white privilege. When a black man is shot 7 times in the back, and 48 hours later, a 17-year-old who's been given in his child's hands, because he's a child, an AR-15, and he murders 3 people, and walks up the street with his arms raised with people yelling, he just killed people, and he gets to walk through. Don't tell me there's no privilege. Don't tell me our kids didn't see that. Don't tell me that doesn't have an impact. If you're not willing to be at a place that says we need to be better, then this isn't the place for you. Because I know the hope of our educators. I know the mission of our schools. I know that everything this year is about our kids needing us more than ever and us being there for them. I take integrity as one of the most important words in anybody's life. Now, I've tried to teach it to my 2 children. Integrity's the only thing that you have that's your own. And integrity means when you say something to people and you make them promises, you're going to live up to those promises. You're not just telling people what they want to hear. You're telling them who you're going to be. We tell our kids we're there for them. We tell our kids we're going to educate them. We have to live up to these standards and set a tone in our classrooms of work, set a tone of compassion, set a tone of hopefulness. And that's what you do. Now, I went to our 2 graduations, which I got to admit, getting graduations off the ground was an enormous pain in the neck this year. And that was item 6 on the list of 1,000 things that people could criticize us for. And it was special. It was special to see those kids come together. The parade passed my house, and the kids coming by, and I thought it would be when my daughter went by with my wife, where I'd choke up. And while that certainly had an impact on me, the amount of kids that went by with their families as I stood there and said, thank you. Thanks for trying to do something for us. People know how hard this is. But I want to say thank you to all of you for being here for our kids, for being here for our families, for taking on this special challenge. I mean, when you decided to be a teacher, when you decided to be an educator, all I wanted to do was make a difference. That's why I chose this field. I wanted to make a difference. I mean, the history, being able to teach history, that was just the fun part. But being able to be in class and talk about philosophy and know that what I was saying to that child is something they would have never been exposed to before if it weren't for me that day. And getting to see the looks on their faces and to hear them talk about it was the greatest joy in my life. And every few months, I'll get an email or a letter back from a former student that says, hey, Mr. Moore, I was here. You know, somebody said to me they were in England on a business trip. This was before the pandemic. And they said, I had to go to Runnymede to see the Magna Carta. 6/15, 12/15. They still remembered the date. Okay? And those are the kind of things that, and I always try to say I didn't really teach about just dates, but those moments, those memories that kids took with them 20 years later, that's special. That's what you get to do. That's what I've been fortunate enough to do. And this year needs to be special. This year needs to be about hope. This year needs to be about optimism. This year needs to be about safety. But people need to know they're okay. People need to know they're taken care of. Our kids need that. I need that. You need that. We're all in this together. But it's not a question of we'll get through it. We'll get over it. We'll overcome it. This isn't a wall to stop us. This is a wall for us to figure out how we can be better. Years from now, we're going to look back and see all the changes in education that were positive because of this. It's too soon right now. It's too soon. I understand that. But all of the things that we've discovered, new ways to connect with people, it's going to be a powerful, lasting legacy. All the things that we put off that said, well, I'll learn how to do that eventually, we've been forced to do it now. This is a seminal moment in the history of the United States. These next few months is going to be passion, energy, fear, division. And people are going to come into your classroom, and it's going to be our need to heal. It's going to be our need to lift up. So thank you. Thank you for taking on this challenge. Thank you for being a colleague of mine in the West Hartford Public Schools. I think this year is going to be our greatest year. I think we're going to prove what we can do together, working together. And I think our kids are going to be so in love with being together again. And they're just going to feel the importance of school in a way that they haven't, because now they've had it taken away from them. So, it's a special year. These are special moments you get to create with your kids. When they come in that first day, remember, you set the atmosphere, you set the environment. They're taking their cues from you. So make sure you let them know that things are going to get better. And we're going to help clear those paths for bright futures. And we're not going to put limits on our kids. And we're not going to put limits on what we can do, because we can do special things. Thank you, West Hartford. Good luck this year.